So the last time I was here, welcome back. We're talking about mortal sin in marriage, part two. So I started with telling you what is a mortal sin in marriage. The sin is an offense against God. Sin separates us from the presence of God. Afterwards, I think I went further to talk about different kinds of sin, mortal sin and venial sin. Sins where you have full consent, you actually know what you are doing, you thought about it, so before you went ahead and do it. And sins are of different type. Someone who tell lies and someone who commits murder, they are not the weight of the sin are not the same. Sin is sin, yes, you want to say, but the weight of the sin is not the same. So after that, I think we went further to talk about a divorce. That divorce is a legal separation between a man and a woman. Sometimes it's always easy. It's easily gotten in court. These days, people are becoming very greedy because of property. So you get married to someone, sometimes even with an intention of separating from the person just to get your own share of the property, and you run off with another person. And in that, I said the church does not encourage divorce except on the ground of threat to life. That's the only the ground that the church encourages. Not even divorce. The church does not even use the word divorce. They call it annulment. That's and they are going to look at, you're going to present your case before the tribunal, and by the time they look at it, it says that if they find out that ab initio there was no marriage, then the marriage is going to be annulled on the grounds of maybe crime, age, consanguinity. I mentioned that. Then a disparity of courts. And they mentioned disparity of courts the other time. The public perpetual vow of chastity, that maybe you were religious before you run out to marry someone without the person knowing that you were once a religious, or adoption, you carry someone's child and you elope and decide to marry the person, or you have a proud marriage bond. You were once married somewhere, like many people do. You are married in a country, you go to another country that for greener pasture, and you get married there just because of paper. And at the end of the day, you come up with stories, and there is a divorce over there. Then public property, so where everyone already know, maybe you adopt a child, and at the end of the day, you begin to have feelings for the child. You can't marry the child because you are related, except you are out of that environment. Then a sacred order, you are a priest. You can't get married. Yes, you can't take those two sacraments together: sacrament of matrimony and sacrament of sacred order. So I've already mentioned disparity of court, impotency. So after that, then I think I remember talking about adultery. That adultery is not a ground for annulment, because the God actually wants us to forgive. It gives us room that we should be able to what? We should be able to forgive when your spouse sin against you. But you have to give the person time. I think that's where I stopped in my last video, because adultery traumatizes the person that is involved. Sometimes it causes stress, a lot of things, broken home, children are against themselves or against the father. Some will support daddy because of what they are getting from him. Some will support mommy because of what they are. Before you see, the family is already what's in disarray. Now, after that is the next thing I want to talk about is sinful company keeping. Once you are married, it is expected that you set a boundary for yourself. There are people you chat with as a single person. Immediately you are married, there should be a boundary. You have to set that boundary. If not, there are going to be issues. I think one issue that we once treated, I think some people can be so petty. Say because your brother has a washing machine in the house, and your brother is married now, you carry your clothes all the way. For those who live all the way from a distance that is almost 4 hours, you carry the clothes all the way and come to your brother's house just because your brother have a washing machine, and the brother is just managing in a room and a parlor, and the only space they could get is even their bedroom. That's where the washing machine is. and the sister comes there to come and wash her own children clothes. That was so petty, and that caused problem in the marriage. So you see that a sinful company keeping, that one is your sibling, yes, but you have to set boundary. What about calls? What about tests? You have to set all those things because you're already in a new union. For that union to thrive, there must be boundary. And if you don't set the boundary from the beginning, don't forget about that story that we are just friends. You see that phrase, we are just friends. If you like, take it at your own detriment. We are just friends. Yes, I hear you. We are just friends. Really. So few persons are actually able to set boundary for themselves, then some are not able. And you know, whether you like it or not, there is always an issue when you keep the previous person. Some um, a spouse once confided in us saying that herself and her husband to be, they decided to keep their S. What are you keeping your S for? Because that means the intention of going even into marriage is not genuine from the very beginning. For you to say you are going to keep your ex, let me keep my ex, you keep your ex. If your ex is so good, then why not stay with your ex and marry your ex? Why come up with this new person? So you want to marry a new person, at the same time you still want to keep ties with the old one. No, it doesn't work like that. Marriage doesn't work like that. At the end of the day, it's going to affect the community, affect everyone that is around you, even your work is going to affect it. So apart from a sinful lawful kidney, the next thing is artificial birth control. The Catholic Church insists that each and every sexual act must be open to what? It must be open to procreation. Yes, for the transmission of life. You don't have right. Christ has given us the opportunity to be his co-creator. Yes, he created us. Now we have the ability to be able to what? Create a being like us. So he said, hey, doing anything before and after the conjugal act to keep the woman from getting pregnant is considered a sin. Yes, the church encourages us no sex before marriage. Yes, that's what the church encourages. So, so anything that you do to prevent the woman from giving birth, from conceiving, because you are trying to make sure that you marry her first, it is what? It's a sin. Remember what scripture says in Genesis chapter 38, verse 9 to 11. Oma, yes, I think that's the name. Oh, Honor, yes, not Oma, Honor. Who usually have sex. At the end of the day, what does he do? He pour out his sperm. So what did greed offended the Lord, and the Lord took his life. I think let me look for that scripture and read it to you. Yes. He said, Honor, however, knew that the offspring would not be his, so whenever he had intercourse with his brother's wives, his brother's wife, one, he wasted his seed on the ground to avoid giving offspring to his brother. What he did greatly offended the Lord, and the Lord took his life. Yes, you you have sex, and at the end of the day, maybe instead of going into the woman, you pour it out. You see what this honor did in Genesis chapter 38. You can go and read it yourself, verse 9 to 10. And the Lord was angry with him. That's the reason why the church does not encourage artificial birth control. Whatever you want to use, be it condom, diaphragm, mention them, oral pill, injection, implants, name them. Contraceptive device, both the one you put in the hand or under anywhere. That's why the church always encourage from the beginning. When you start the marriage class, the church will always talk about a billings and method. It's our chat, not her chat. So the two of you can sit and understand yourself and know when the woman is what? When the woman is fertile and when she is safe, to avoid any of all those barriers. Most time, women are always at the receiving end because ask any doctor. The doctor will tell you that these things are detrimental to the woman's health. Yes, so that is for artificial birth control. The church does not support artificial birth control. Sterilization also. So this involves the voluntary rendering of the what? Of the genital reproductive organ incapable of its what? Its procreative power. You go and remove your womb, you shift your womb, or you do drug, whatever you take just to make sure that you don't get pregnant. The church is a mortal sin against marriage. Remember, what I'm talking about is mortal sin against marriage. That is a sin against marriage. So it may be in the form of what? Cutting or tying the fallopian tube. You tie it up. Or the seminal vesicle. Or even the total removal of the ovaries. No. Shifting your womb, taking something to block so that when you have intercourse, nothing will happen. The church is against it. So it is mortal sin against marriage. Sterilization is not allowed as far as the Catholic Church is what is concerned. So sterilization is a mortal sin. Yes, it is a mortal sin unless the organs are diseased and must be removed because of what? They are a danger to one's health. If they are not danger to your health, then you can't just go and remove them just because you don't want another life to come forth. If your parents remove theirs, will you be alive? You won't be alive. So take notes. I'm going to stop at this point. I don't want the video to be too long. So we stop at sterilization. In my next video, we're going to talk about abortion and other things that are sin against mortal sin against marriage.